There's been some weird shit going on with small cap companies that have no news. They actually have terrible earnings compared to what their expected earnings for the quarter were supposed to be. They're literally like failing businesses. They're businesses that are not doing well at all. And they're getting this insane traction. Like on average, these companies are trading 500,000 shares a day at best, that are now trading 60 to 80 million a day. And there's these ridiculous options contracts. Every single one of them now has options. They didn't have options before, but they do now. And they all, the latest that they expire, earliest they expire is August 20th. Look at this shit. Like, look at OBSV. I bought a couple of these this morning just because I wasn't even really thinking. I was like, oh, wow, that shit's gone up pretty well. Maybe I can make a good day trade on this. But this is, look at this. Today, and they all, right at the bell, all of them. There's a bunch of them. They just opened up and ran. Not a lot either. Like, this one was only up, I think, 14 to 20 some cents initially. And then went up like, I don't know, to about $1, and then dropped back down to where it's at now, like around 35 cents. But look at this shit. And I can't find a place to get these options. I can't find a place to get these options like this. 25,000% change for the positive. That's insane. I bought a couple of these that they were at still this sitting about 1,200%. And I'm like, okay, well, let them sit for a day. Maybe tomorrow they'll go up. Probably not. Probably not. I'm sitting at a negative on this now that I've started noticing that this wasn't the only one. There was quite a few today. And I've seen it. I saw it in the crypto market back in May, and it was when I pulled all my crypto. It's like there's some weird shit going on here. Something that is beyond the average investor's control. There's some sort of colluding, like a way to make some serious money without affecting the shares of this company, because they're not going to exercise these. You get a fucking 25,000% change for the positive on an options contract. You're going to sell that shit. That's ridiculous. That's fucking insane. Literally, that's insane. There's a bunch of them. There's like INOV. There's this intrusion company. All of them just had this weird breakout bump. Not very high, like $1 more than what it was, but their options chains are insane. The returns are like 14,000 to this to 25,000%. And the really lucrative ones you can't get. That's like a private options chain somewhere. And I've only started noticing this shit since June, since AMC blew up. I've started noticing these very strange small companies that aren't even doing well, getting these weird gigantic jumps just for a bit. Because I'd look at them and some of them would be like, oh, it's up like 1,200% today or something like that. And then I'd look at it like, that's not 1,200%. But for the options contract, I don't know if it's taking into account the average of the actual underlying change plus the options chain change, and that's how it's getting its percentage that goes up. But this is fucking weird. This is very suspicious. This is a company, this one's in Sweden. It's in like Geneva, some shit in Sweden, I think, somewhere around there. But these are all over. And there's no way to know. There's like no way to gauge that it's coming. It is these very mediocre companies that no one is even looking at or would even look at, that for no reason, there's no news on them. Like I said, they have bad quarterly earnings. They're all under what they were expected to be. They're underperforming. And somebody somewhere is creating ridiculous options contracts, and people are dumping money into it. The only people that could be doing this is hedge funds. They're the only fucking people that could be this organized and discreet at the same time to be picking these stocks that nobody would be paying attention to, but they're fucking up because they're making so much money on these that it's pinging on people's radars. Anyone that's a day trader, anyone at all is seeing these. I mean, we're not able to find them before they blow up. The best thing I'm hoping for is that when they were doing it with crypto, they were literally taking cryptos that they looked like they were made within the last week. No one had touched them. There was no news on them. They were all under $1, and for some reason they would like blow up 1,000%, and it would only be for a few minutes during the day, and then they die right back down. But then, like the next day, this is in the crypto market again. I'm not saying this is going to happen here or any of that shit. But with crypto, when I noticed it, that's what was going on. Then the next day, somewhere within that same hour, it would do the exact same thing, blow up, and then come right back down. Somebody is making themselves some serious liquidity by doing this. And this is manipulation. This is a big form of manipulation. There is no reason, none, fundamentally at all, for this to be performing like that. And it's just a very, very strange scenario. Most of these companies don't even have options because they don't have that many shares. They don't have the volume. It's not really, a high price stock. It's just not that type of stock, or company for that matter. But it's this right here just blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind. This wasn't even on there this morning when I looked at these, and I got a few. This was the only one. This right here was the only one that was. These two were the only ones that were available, and this was up like at 1,400 or something, I think, when I first got it. Then I saw another one that was at like 14,000. I bought a couple of those. And it's already it's up $100. I bought one contract because I saw it and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And the moment I bought it, it was up $38, and it was just one contract. And then I bought two more just to see what was up, and it's sitting up at $100 now. So I don't know what's going on. I just know that this shit is absolutely crazy. This is all money that I anticipate. I would anticipate losing. I wouldn't be worried if I did. I just was something crazy, and me being a day trader and looking at options chains most of the day, there was no way that I wasn't going to put a little bit of money into these crazy numbers just to see if maybe in some other time this week or something they may jump it back up. But that doesn't. That's the difference between this and the crypto market shit that I saw with the stocks I've been seeing since June. It's only like for that day. It's that one day, one stock. They get in, do their thing, and then they typically get the fuck out. The only thing that you may get lucky on is someone else finally sees it and they're like, oh wow, what's going on with this stock? And then people buy in, and hopefully you catch a second little blip in it. It's nowhere near as big as this as the initial one, but still it's a little bump sometimes, or it just crashes straight back down to reality to where it was and you lose money. But yeah, this is crazy. Like I said, there's company intrusion, there's INOV, I think there's another one like APG. There's all these weird little no news, no big companies that are all underperforming. The last 4 quarters have been underperforming, but for some reason have these crazy options that have just came out. All of them have an expiration date of August 20, all of them. And they all have these wild percentages like this. And the vast majority of them are under $5. The vast majority are under $5 is where they've been floating for years, where they're at. So I don't know what's going on here. It's something I'm looking into, but it definitely, if I was a hedge fund, I had a market maker, and I needed liquidity bad, this is something that you can do. I'm fairly certain it's illegal, but I don't know. But it is definitely something you could do. This is straight manipulation of a stock. You put your pieces in play. You start writing up options for that company, and then you get a bunch of your buddies or you to buy a bunch of these options, and then you get you and a bunch of your buddies to pump millions into the stock just for a minute. Sell your options contracts, pull your shares, and on to the next one. So this is something else I am looking into. I am not in any way, shape, or form advocating anybody buy OBSV right now. because there's just the risk versus reward is not there. Again, this is money I anticipate losing, but there's a small, very, very small chance that I may catch some after action on this from people, within the first 24 hours of something like this happening. That's usually when the news breaks and people are like, oh, wow, what the fuck? So I may catch a blip there, but probably not. Probably not, considering the fact this is already down. It was up earlier in the day. It was up like $34, but now it's down like 70. So I don't know if it's going to go back up or not. But yeah, this is just something I'm keeping my eye on, trying to see what's going on here, and I'm definitely going to be looking into further to see if maybe I can find out who the fuck wrote these contracts, who bought this shit. Like, I probably won't be able to find that shit out until next quarter when 13Fs and shit are filed. I don't even know if they'd have to put this in there because it's probably such an insignificant amount and they wouldn't be holding it anymore anyway. Basically a day trade. And the 13Fs don't have to show like their day trades, just their main big holdings that they have, positions for extended periods of time. So we'll see. Keep my eyes on it. Like I said, I'll bring more information to you guys as I get it. I know this isn't for the vast majority of the people that watch me, but for the ones that are day traders and do this shit, I'm just trying to get it out there so hopefully you can pay attention to it too, maybe look into it. If you find out any information, please let me know, because this has been going on since after the June 2nd run up with AMC. I've been seeing this everywhere. And it's always at the beginning of the day. It's the beginning of the day. It's like they set it up overnight just for them to get in on it when the bell fucking rings, and then they're out. So, I don't know. All right, I'm going to get out of here.